Fun.
Right, recording. All right. Hi, Peter.
Recording.
Sorry, this is Neil Kilby and
Peter Schmitz from Florida, sunny Florida.
well, lucky Florida then. Right, we've been talking about customer lifetime value, and the thing that it is most used for, most importantly used for, is to understand the cost of customer acquisition, or as you call it,
Acquisition cost.
yeah. So whatever it is to get a paying customer.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just go through that as a number thing. So when we say about we're acquiring a paying customer, okay, so that's the calculation is that we've got ourselves a customer, not how much that customer spends at that time. That's a different calculation.
Yes.
Yeah, because on average, no customer is average. They're all, there's a spectrum of spending $5 or $500,000. So they average out as being valuable, but we will spend an average value to acquire one.
Yes. So in simple math,
terms, I've seemed to have confused that.
well, you did, but to put it to a fifth grader, if you spend $1,000 and you get 10 customers, it costs you on average $100 per customer.
Whatever those individual customers spend.
Forget about what they spend. They could spend $1, they could spend $1,000. You spent on average $100 or $10 per, or $100 per customer on that example. And you need to have a big enough customer acquisition base. You need to have enough of them so the average has statistical validity.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Because if you get 2 of them and they're $100 a piece, I would not tell you your average is $100 because it's not enough data to really know if it's going to hold out. But it's strictly math. You've heard Mark Cuban say it on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
What's your acquisition cost? So
the acquisition cost, we need to know what the lifetime value of a customer is, so that we know what our maximum acquisition cost can be, so that we've got both ends of the.
Put that in English.
Okay, so if an individual, if our average customer is worth $99 and we're spending $100 to get the average customer, we're losing money.
Exactly.
So we need to know what a lifetime value is, even though at the start we don't actually know.
Well, true, but yeah, you don't want to spend more than a customer's worth. In most cases, there are cases where guys like Frank Kern will spend more than the customer's worth because he knows down the road they will buy more products and services. But that's a unique model. That's the
customer lifetime value. He's putting, for want of a better word, bait into the water so that he attracts the fish, and then puts some bait on the hook so that they get onto the hook.
True.
Yeah, I'm not a nice term for customers, but that's we're investing into that overall client lifetime value.
But it's remarkable when I talk to small business owners and I will say, "What's your cost of acquisition?" and they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
They don't know, and they'll run a campaign, and they'll lose money, and they really don't know why or what they did. They don't know the metrics, the math behind it.
Well, I mean, my theory behind that is that they're specialists in their field and not marketeers.
True.
But if you're in business, somebody needs to be the specialist in marketing for you, or you need to be that specialist.
I would argue you need to learn that regardless, because I'll give you an example. My client that was in the granola business, he relied on other people to do that kind of math.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm the creator, I'm the founder, I'm the inventor. Well, that's great, but then when his business is failing around him, he doesn't have any idea what to do.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you. But if you're not a specialist at the moment, a knowledgeable marketeer, and are a product specialist or a service specialist, it's something that you need to learn as you go along if you're in this field.
I would argue that. And my other client that, the guitar guy is, he would rather have specialists help him, but he's further along in his business. He can afford to hire people to help him. So this is one I want to talk about, Neil, and that's the Facebook world, because people get caught up in how much to spend on Facebook ads. And we were talking a little minute ago about somebody who wants to spend $5 a day on Facebook ads to see if it works. Well, that's a great model, but if your acquisition cost is $25 to get a customer, and you know that from some prior experiences, and now you're spending $5 a day. My question to that customer is, okay, that's a good start. How long is it going to take you to get a customer if it costs $25 to get a customer?
Well, simple maths is 5 days on that.
Right, but he doesn't realize that. He thinks he's going to get a customer shortly because he's spending money, he's advertising on Facebook. And it's a misnomer, because if the average is $25, you've got to spend enough on Facebook to get enough ads in front of people so somebody can say, I'll buy.
Well, as you say, it's erroneous thinking, because if it's how much does it cost to get a customer, spend that money as quickly as you possibly can. Because
right.
If it's $100 to acquire a customer and you're spending $5 a day to get one, that's 20 days.
Yeah, it's insane.
But it's always going to cost you $100 to get the customer.
Right. I was telling you about this.
Spend it in 5 minutes.
I was telling you about this prior example where we knew a customer was $30 to get him to come to this weekend workshop. And so my mentor at the time said, you're never going to get there spending $20 a day. Spend $100 a day, turn on 10 ad sets, so that potentially that was $1,000 a day. And what you do is in Facebook, what the nice part about Facebook is, if you don't get any don't get any customers by the time they've spent $30, turn the ad off, because it's never going to get any better.
Absolutely. I mean, we used to, for many years, I was the owner of a temp agency, and people would hire one guy to do a 5-man job for 5 days, where they could have hired 5 guys to do the 1-man job.
Same example.
And it's exactly, it's a 5-man day job. Do you want 5 guys or 1 guy for 5 days? And people forget that time value. We're trying to get to the profitable, efficient models as soon as we possibly can, as efficiently as we possibly can.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't cost you any different, but you've lost the time. That's a really good example, the one you just said.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of people just don't get the maths there. It isn't particularly complicated, and it applies so well with Facebook and the spend. And that's why you need to have a professional in there who understands what it is that's trying to happen, and turn off the spend that isn't working, and accelerate the spend that is. To get in there and make sure that the whole program is trying to achieve what we want, which is more paying customers at the lowest cost that we can get them.
Said very well.
Okay.
You're talking to a 5th grader. Very good.
Right. Well, look, Peter, I think that's just to reiterate that for a couple of people there. It's that it is the cost of acquisition allows us to decide, the cost of the value of the lifetime value of a client allows us to decide what we're going to spend on acquiring that client.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the systems in place that we put in there but we might as well do it quickly rather than more slowly.
Yeah. Why learn in one or 2 days instead of 5 or 6 or 10?
Well, I mean, if you go back 20 years, people were doing this very slowly. There was, as you were saying, that they were putting adverts in papers. They were expecting responses back, and it would take you a month to work out whether or not it was a profitable ad or not.
So anyway, I think we covered this.
You can do it in a day or over a weekend. That is just phenomenal.
Especially in the Facebook world and Google.
And we were talking about those numbers there in the order of $50 to $100 on a daily spend. What was the minimum spend that you guys used to do in the mail order?
Oh, geez. A test in the mail would be 25,000 pieces of mail. So roughly $12,000 to $15,000 just to do a test. And it'd take 3 weeks to get the answer. And
that's the same quality or less that you can get from Facebook.
Same. Yeah, exactly.
That's absolutely incredible. So whilst it can sound to a lot of people like you've just turned the tap on and it's $100 a day and you don't know when it's going to stop. We watch it. We understand what's going on. Okay. But it is incredibly cheap compared to what it used to be.
Oh, ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous.
Peter, that's absolutely fantastic. We'll be back. We'll be talking on a completely different subject, which is between the difference between a client and customer, which is about the sort of difference between just having somebody who comes and buys from you once and somebody who you are retaining. But of course, there's a retention cost in there and things that you have to do. So we'll be talking about that next time. Peter, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, young man. We'll see you soon.
Okay, speak to you soon. Thank you, everyone.